Hi, I'm Juliana, and today I want to tell you about the small but very significant ways in which the pandemic has changed my mindset and approach to life. Welcome back to my channel where I explore self-care and sustainable living. The reason why I'm making this video is because I did a brief reflection of what 2020 was like for me, and initially just thought it was a really shitty year, and it has been in many ways, but then I started thinking about all the different ways I changed during this time, and so that's how I came up with this idea. I know the pandemic has been so hard on each and every one of us, both financially, mental and health wise, and I do realize that I'm in a lucky and privileged position to be at home during lockdown, but I still thought it'd be worth sharing some of these realizations that I've had in case any of you can relate to this, or to get you thinking about how your mind has really changed during this period of time. So let's jump into the video. Now, the first way the pandemic has really changed my mindset is in terms of my career and where I want to go. I used to be so fixated on the direction I wanted to go in and even the type of companies I would want to work for. And so pre-COVID, I had a couple different freelance jobs, but I actually lost a lot of those because of the pandemic, and fashion weeks were cancelled and events were cancelled. And so I was really forced to take a step back to reevaluate where I want to go. And so I did a lot of soul searching, a lot of journaling and vision boarding, but it was no easy road either. I applied for jobs I didn't get, and I ended up doing some work for a company where I worked full-time for a bit, but I quickly found out that a corporate 9-to-5 job where I didn't quite resonate with the company and where I wasn't able to work on things that I really care about made me super unhappy. So in a way, I guess I'm glad that I had time to take a step back and really reflect on where I'm going, and that's definitely something that I'll keep in mind for the future, like constantly check in with myself and make sure that the direction I'm going in is the one that I actually want to go in. The pandemic has also made me rediscover passions of mine that I had lost touch with, and so I ended up going part-time so I could figure out what I wanted to do, but also invest time in things that might not generate any income right now, but that I still feel like would add to my skill set and make me more creatively fulfilled. And so with a lot of these things, different things that I wanted to do, I found out that I had kept putting it off or waiting for the right time, and one of those things was starting my own YouTube channel, which I'm finally taking action on now, and I've had times make the videos and put them out there, and it feels so liberating to finally get started on that. And I did that by signing up to Ali Abdal's part-time YouTuber Academy, which has been awesome to get to connect with other people who also wants to start their own channel. So another thing that I've rediscovered is my love for reading. Ever since I got my Kobo e-reader, I've been reading much more, and also creative writing. So creative writing is not something I've done ever since I was 14, but I found an old notebook with a bunch of different novel ideas that I actually think are pretty good. So those are some ideas that I definitely would like to turn into actual novels one day, and so that's another passion project of mine that you might see me document later this year. Another thing I realized during the pandemic is that some things I used to think were important really aren't. So for me, there used to be so much FOMO and pressure around having to go to social events and even fashion week and networking events and all of that, which are all very intimidating to begin with, but not having to go to that last year was really freeing for me. And I think it's actually great that there's the option to attend those things now online, because then you're in the comfort of your own home, right? And yeah, I don't know, maybe that makes me an introvert, but same goes for being in a relationship. I've never been so happy being single as I am today. Again, it's just taking the pressure off, and it's been really nice not having to worry about dating and instead use that time on anything I want to dive into, career-wise and creatively. I guess the pandemic has just given me a greater appreciation for nature, and that we don't need a lot of extra stuff as long as we have good people around us and we're having a good time. And that leads me to my next point, which is that the pandemic has given me a deeper understanding of the people around me. I thought it was very interesting to see how differently people reacted to the pandemic. Some people were clearly in denial, right, and didn't follow the rules, so it really came down to trust whenever you'd meet up with someone. So the pandemic did trigger some social anxiety for me, because I just didn't know if it was worth meeting up with someone and getting COVID. So yeah, there was particularly this weird period last year during the summer and fall time where there were guidelines but not fully, so it was technically still okay to meet up. But now that there's actually stricter guidelines, I feel so much better like mentally because I know like my family and I will be relatively safe. In terms of priorities, I guess the pandemic has just emphasized for me that the health of the people close to me is just more important than anything else in the world. And lastly, the pandemic has taught me to take better care of myself. In December, I finally read Atomic Habits by James Clear, and it's changed my mindset in terms of building new habits and sticking to them. And I started meditating daily, and I do feel less anxious, which is nice. And so I also started thinking more about the products I put on my skin and the ingredients, what's in the products I use on my skin, and how much quality sleep I get. And so I do feel like I've seen an improvement in my overall skin and health. And another like tiny thing is that I used to have this nervous habit of like picking my cuticles, which was really bad. It was like a stress habit, right? But I finally become like more aware of that too, and I've stopped doing that. So that's another thing where I feel like I've really seen a difference during the pandemic. So what's the biggest takeaway? That I've really enjoyed not having that external pressure from society to do certain things, and to be able to take a step back and really reflect on where I'm going. With that being said, I'm of course looking forward to things to get better, but those were some of the reflections and mindset shifts that I've had during this time. And I'd love to know if any of this resonated with you or how your mindset has changed during this pandemic. So let me know that down below, and click this video over here to see more content from me, and remember to connect with me on socials, and I'll see you next time. Bye!